want your dad to show up. And you want reconciliation. And I know that I played a part. But I'm angry.
What happens when a family built on faith and love begins to fall apart? What happens when tragedy strikes and the voices of the children reveal the truth their father refuses to face? Tonight, we uncover the heartbreaking story of the Brown family, a story of loss, anger, and a daughter's cry against her father after her brother's death. The Brown family once stood before millions as a bold experiment in faith, love, and family. The world met them through the show Sister Wives, a household unlike most, built not on a single marriage, but on 4. Kody Brown, his wives, and their many children became symbols of a lifestyle few understood, but many could not look away from. At first, there was charm, there was unity, there was laughter from children filling large kitchens, mothers supporting one another in moments of stress, and a father who tried to stretch himself across a family of more than 20. But beneath the surface, storms gathered, resentments formed, time, jealousy, and unmet needs began to unravel the dream. And then, tragedy struck. When Robert Garrison Brown, a son of Kody and Janelle, passed away, it sent shockwaves through the family and through the millions who had followed their story. His death was not just the loss of a son, a brother, or a friend. It was the collapse of unspoken hopes, the shattering of fragile ties, and the reopening of every scar that polygamy had carved into the Browns' lives. Among those grieving was his sister, Maddie Brown. Her words, filled with sorrow and fury, revealed not only her heartbreak over her brother's passing, but also the deep fracture between herself and her father. Maddie's voice became the echo of many children in this story, unheard, frustrated, and wounded by years of distance. This book is not just about Garrison's death. It is about what led to it, the history, the conflicts, the choices, and the silence. It is about Maddie's anger, her pain, and her courage to speak when so many stayed quiet. Back in 2010, when the first season of Sister Wives aired, the Browns were pioneers of a sort. Reality television had introduced unusual families before, but never quite like this. Kody Brown, energetic and full of confidence, introduced his wives. Mary, the first and legal wife, Janelle, the practical one, Christine, the nurturing heart, and Robin, the newest addition, whose entrance would forever change the dynamic of the family. They told the world that love was not meant to be divided, but multiplied. Polygamy to them was not a burden, but a blessing. And in those early episodes, the picture was compelling. Kids played across yards. Wives gathered for family meals. Kody laughed and joked, running between households like a man determined to prove the strength of his convictions. Maddie was still young then. Garrison, too. They were part of the background chorus of laughter and innocence that made viewers believe the Browns had found a secret to happiness. But the cameras only catch so much. And no camera could fully capture the slow erosion of trust, the sting of favoritism, or the toll of a father stretched too thin. The illusion of harmony began to falter as the seasons went on. Christine admitted she felt neglected. Mary struggled with loneliness. Janelle tried to stay steady, though she too felt the weight of being one of many. And Robin, though loved by Kody, became the lightning rod for resentment from the others. For the children, the cracks were more subtle, yet more devastating. Kody's time was limited. His energy was pulled toward Robin and her children. Some kids felt seen, others felt forgotten. Garrison, strong-willed and independent, began to feel the distance. So did Maddie. They loved their father. Love was no shield against neglect. Every broken promise, every missed moment, became another stone in the wall between father and child. By the time divorces and separations hit the family in later seasons, the dream of polygamy had all but collapsed. What remained was bitterness, loyalty splits, and children trying to navigate fractured relationships. Then came the tragedy that no one was prepared for. Garrison Brown was gone. A young man full of potential, a soldier, a brother, a son. His passing left a silence that no one could fill. The family grieved, fans grieved, but within the grief was also anger. Anger at the circumstances, at the broken bonds, at the years that could not be taken back. For Janelle, the loss of her son was unimaginable. For Kody, it was a blow that shook even his stubborn pride. But for Maddie, it was more than loss. It was a breaking point. Maddie did not remain silent. She spoke of her anger not only at losing her brother, but at the father who had grown distant long before tragedy struck. Her tears carried years of silence. She admitted that she felt abandoned, that the bond she once had with Kody was broken, perhaps beyond repair. Her confession was not meant to entertain. It was the raw cry of a daughter who had lost faith in her father. And through her words, the audience glimpsed the cost of choices Kody had made, choices that favored one household over another, one set of children over the rest. Maddie's relationship with Kody had always been complicated. She admired him once. She defended him when outsiders mocked their family. But as she grew, as she watched the pain in her siblings' eyes, her admiration faded into disillusionment. Garrison's death only magnified that distance. In her grief, Maddie revealed what many had long suspected. The bond between Kody and many of his children was broken long before tragedy struck. Kody, for his part, often spoke of his own pain. He insisted he tried, that he loved his children, that the choices were not easy, but his words often felt more like defense than confession. To some, he sounded in denial, unwilling to accept that his actions had alienated his children. Robin, the wife who became central to Kody's world, was both blamed and pitied. Some saw her as the wedge that split the family. Others saw her as simply the wife Kody chose to prioritize. Either way, the children of the other wives often felt like outsiders in their father's new world. Christine, long gone from Kody, mourned for Garrison while also standing by her children. Janelle carried the heaviest burden, her grief as a mother etched in every word she spoke. Mary, distant from Kody as well, remained in the periphery, another witness to the unraveling. The audience of sister wives was not silent. Social media exploded with support for Maddie and the other children, and with criticism of Kody. Fans who once admired the family's courage to live openly now questioned the cost of it all. At its heart, this story is not only about one father and one daughter, it is about the failure of a dream. Polygamy, meant to bring strength, had instead left children without the closeness they craved, wives without the love they deserved, and a man torn between ego and reality. And so the question remains, can healing ever come? Can Maddie forgive? Can Kody change? Can the Browns find unity in grief where they could not find it in love? The answers are not clear. What is clear is that the story of the Browns, once told with pride, is now told with sorrow. The death of Garrison is a wound that will never fully heal, and Maddie's voice crying out against her father is a reminder that behind reality, television are real people, people whose lives can break, whose bonds can shatter, and whose stories can end in silence. This is the story of Maddie, of Garrison, of Kody, and of a family torn apart. The Brown family once told the world that love could multiply, that unity could survive even the weight of 4 marriages and many children. But in the end, what remains is not unity, but division, grief, and unanswered questions. Garrison's passing was not just the loss of a beloved son. It was the mirror that showed the cracks in a family's foundation. And Maddie's voice, filled with pain and anger, was the voice of truth, that even in the largest families, a child can feel unseen, unheard, and unloved. The story of the Browns is still being written, but one thing is certain, the echo of Maddie's cry will not be forgotten.